Hey guys, so I am getting ready to make my meal plan for the month of September. The first thing I like to do is I like to go through and write down what I have for what I have on hand in my freezer, refrigerator, whatnot, and then below that I start my grocery list for what I need to buy to fill in, and we'll do that this weekend. I like to come up with like 15 to 20 items that I'm going to sorry, just thought of another one that we're going to have for dinner, and then I just take a regular calendar. Isn't that a pretty picture? A regular calendar, and just write it down on there. So the reason I like to write my list of what I'm going to want to have first is because then I have it right next to the things that I have on hand, my list of things that I have on hand. And also then I can, once I have my list right here, then I can look at, okay, what do we have going on this month? Where is it going to make the most sense to make certain things? Like for instance, I believe my middle daughter is going to be coming home on Monday the 8th. And so we'll probably plan on having a dinner that I have on here that's dairy free, because both of my older daughters are dairy free, and so we'll plan on having a meal that's dairy free that works for her that night. And so like I have sourdough wiener wraps on my list, and that's probably what I'll make, because that's something that everyone will appreciate. So we'll be able to have everybody over. And so let's see. So I have on hand, I have 6.5 pounds of chicken tenders, just like the chicken tenderloins. I got a bag from Costco. And then I have 5 pounds of ground beef. I have salmon burgers. It's a whole sleeve of salmon burgers. I think there's a dozen in there. Eggs, cheese, 2 pounds of bacon. I have large Polish dogs from Costco. And then I have some steak. I'm not sure how much steak. It might be a pound. It might be a little bit more than that. And then there's some things that I didn't put on the list that I have that I might incorporate, like tuna fish. We generally always have that in the pantry. And then like we'll end up having refried beans to go with chicken fajitas, and I have refried beans in the pantry. We will get underway here. I like to usually do 1 to 2 days a week where we do a leftover night. Otherwise, we end up with too many leftovers. I've been cooking so much food for so many people that scaling it down to only 4 people in our house, because we only have us and the 2 younger kids now. And for so long, it was like every meal was for 7, 8, 9 people, depending on who was over or what was going on. It has been really difficult to not be wasteful and have excessive amounts of leftovers. And I'm really, especially, I'm used to cooking for 40 to 50 people every single day. So scaling that down to only 4 people is one of the reasons that I got out of the habit of doing a menu for home, and started leaning toward more convenient stuff, and figuring out at like 5:15 going, okay, what am I gonna make for dinner? So I'm really trying to break that pattern. We're trying to really tighten our budget down, save a lot of money over the next year. In like almost exactly 1 year from now, we want to be able to start the process of buying a house. So, so we are starting where the most money gets away from us, and where we have the most wiggle room to be able to tighten things up, and that's in our food budget. So, like I said, I mostly have all of the meat that I'll need for the entire month on hand, because usually I only use 1 pound of ground beef when I'm making a ground beef meal for 4 of us. And then we still have leftovers because Charlie does not eat a lot of the meal, and frankly, neither do I. So we usually, it's like, between us, it's like a portion. So, or like a standard portion that Noah or Greg will eat. So it's already the 4th. And so I'm going to see if I can turn this around so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I had to back that way up so you could see it. So Fridays will generally be leftovers. So I'll go ahead and fill that in. Because sometimes the kids go over and stay the night at my mother-in-law's house. They get to have a grandma night, or every once in a while they'll get to go over and stay the night at my oldest daughter's house. If we're gonna do anything like that, it's always on Friday night. So we have the most leeway. I don't have to worry about, oh, well, I have enough food here for 4 or 6 people, and it's only going to be Greg and I, and now I don't want to make that, and I have meat thawed out. So, so you can see it. So I usually will try to do, and I try to do this for my menus at the senior center as well. I try to mix it up, like, okay, I want to make sure that we have a chicken meal one of the days, and a ground beef, 1 or 2 ground beef meals or beef meals. We don't do a lot of vegetarian meals, but we will end up doing some, like we'll do sourdough pizza, and that will be just cheese pizza with marinara sauce. That's the kids' favorite kind. And we have some other stuff that we'll put on it. But generally, it's just going to be a cheese pizza. That's super easy, and it's really inexpensive for us. So I have, like I said, Emily coming home on the 8th, so I'm going to do sourdough wiener wraps, because I need to take my sourdough out and feed it and everything. And then, and I might end up, after I show you how I do this a little bit, I might end up doing, getting off of here, and then I'll show you when I have the final product done. So I will also generally have Tuesdays probably be leftover nights, because any more than like 3 days worth of leftovers build up, and we're going to be like overloaded with leftovers in the fridge, and they end up spoiling. So, leftovers. So that makes it super easy for planning, because 2 of the days, then I only have to figure out what I'm making for 5 days a week. Because realistically, there's always something left over, or there's always somebody who just wants to eat a peanut butter and honey sandwich and a yogurt and a banana for dinner or something like that. And I am not opposed to allowing that to be a dinner. If that's what makes my 5-year-old happy, then we can do that. It's not something that interests my 9-year-old. He would rather, if we're having sandwiches, he'd rather have meat and cheese, and then he'll have the yogurt and banana or whatever to go with it, or sliced cucumbers, or but over the years, 26 years of feeding my children, I have learned that, these phases that they go through, like just wanting to eat peanut butter and honey or chicken nuggets, dino nuggets and tater tots, they last for a short amount of time, and then they move on. I mean, I have 3 fully grown adults who have fully developed palates, and they eat plenty of different things, and they're willing to try different things, and it works out. That's not something to stress out about. So as long as my kids are eating, and I don't bring a lot of food into my house that is processed, or really processed, or really laden with sugar, high fructose corn syrup, or we're not like fully organic or anything like that. We like to try to buy things where we can, but I don't generally bring things like cereal into my house. I think I have a couple of boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios right now, just because it's my husband's favorite, and the kids like it too. So, and because it was like our vacation, and Noah really wanted Fruit Loops, so I got the Cheerios, the fruity Cheerios, and that's what Noah got for Fruit Loops, because we just don't, cereal has no redeemable qualities. So anyway, all that to say, I like to do 2 leftover nights a week. I fill in the rest of the way from there. And we may end up moving that leftover night to be flexible. Right now we don't have any kids that are like in sports or anything like that. That's something that we'll start dealing with next year. Excuse me. When Noah's in 5th grade, he will start doing after school sports. So, but for right now, we don't have anything like that going on, but there will be a lot of, say, Saturdays that we will end up doing something or switching our Friday for Saturday because we have something going on Friday. But it's generally pretty flexible. So I'm trying to think of what I have. Okay, so I'm all finished up here. And yeah, I try to have a blend here. So I have, tonight we'll have chicken fajitas with guacamole and chips. And then Saturday we'll have chicken with queso sauce so that we can use the rest of the guacamole and we'll have refried beans and also chips. And when I write chips down there, that's for the kids to be able to have some chips to go with it. And then Greg's been wanting meatloaf forever, so we're gonna have meatloaf and roasted veggies, and then sourdough wiener wraps. Then we have leftovers, salmon Caesar salad, sloppy joes with sourdough rolls, and then fruit and veggies with ranch. Leftovers. The cat. I'm pretty sure she has multiple personalities because I swear she's doing 2 different meows at the same time. We only have 1 cat in there. And then cheese omelets with bacon on Saturday. And then we'll have lasagna, which Noah has been asking if we can have lasagna, and he wants to help me make it. So I want to do that on a Sunday so that he can be able to help. Oh, excuse me, sourdough pizza, and then also fathead pizza Greg and I will have. And then leftover night, and then tuna melts with fries for them and veggies for all of us. When we do tuna melts, we'll most likely just do a wrap, and then I put the cheese in with it, and we put them in the oven or in the air fryer. Sometimes I'll spray them with a little bit of avocado oil or olive oil, brush that over it, and it ends up being like a chimichanga. Really good. That's tuna melts. And then a chili relleno bake with fruit, leftovers, teriyaki chicken with egg roll in a bowl, and rice. The rice is for the kids. And then we'll have beef with broccoli on Sunday, and I'll use the leftover of the rice to make fried rice, also for the kids. And then salmon burgers with broccoli, leftovers, cheesy chicken and broccoli soup, beef tacos and refried beans. We got I think it's Old El Paso makes a crunchy, low-carb taco shell. We haven't tried it before, so we're gonna, I have them in the cabinet. There were 2 different ones. There was one that was like a nacho flavor and one that was a regular one, so we're gonna try one of those kinds that night, and the kids will probably have those ones too. They don't notice the difference. And then leftovers, and then BLT wraps with salad. And then spaghetti. That's one of Noah and Charlie both just love it. And then garlic butter shrimp with roasted veggies, and then leftover night. So that covers September. And now that I have my menu made, now I'll go over here with my notebook, and again, I don't have to take this big menu with me necessarily, because I'm going to go sit down on the couch. And because I have my list of what I'm making on my notebook. So with it not only being on the calendar, it's a little bit more mobile for me. But there was a couple of things that I added at the end. The garlic butter shrimp. And as I was transferring them from this notebook over, I just put a check next to it to make sure that I have everything. So, garlic butter shrimp, BLT wraps, and spaghetti. And then I can get started on my list. What I'll do is we'll end up shopping for all of the majority of the stuff that we need for the first 2 weeks. Well, we'll get everything that we need for the first 2 weeks, and then, which will go through the 20th, and then we will get all of the stuff that we need for the remainder of the month on somewhere around the 19th or 20th. We have a couple of birthday parties that we're going to in here. We may end up pushing something out or having it on a Tuesday because we'll end up driving in to go to church one of the days. We only usually make it once a month into church. It takes us a little over 2 hours to get there. Most of the time we live stream it. So we enjoy going in once a month. But I don't know if we'll be able to make it this month since we have to help Emily, which is the opposite direction. We go that way for church and that way for Emily. So, and it's like 2 hours, over 2 hours to get to her. But then from her to get to church, it's like 3.5 hours or something like that. So, not super easy, but we'll figure it out. I'll come back to you after I have my shopping list, and I'll show you what that looks like and how I organize myself, if you can call it organization. I don't know. So, anyway. And one more time, how about that beautiful picture? Okay, so here is my messy list, and I realize I have broccoli on there twice. That's okay. We need a lot of broccoli. And then there will be there will be a few other things that I will end up putting on there. I need more veggies. I need green onions. Let me just write my list while you're here. I'll need lettuce and tomatoes and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that's basically how I'm going to do it. We had a lot of stuff in our refrigerators and freezers. I don't even know what to actually classify as our food budget, but I do want to have a specific dollar number amount. because I feel like if we don't, then it's a slippery slope. But as of right now, just having a plan is going to be a huge difference, because, I mean, we literally cannot leave this store without spending $500. So, and there's only 4 of us. I mean, we have the grandkids regularly. We have them for breakfast and stuff like that. And I like to have snacks in the house for them. There will be things like that we'll pick up too, snacks and stuff, because the kids like to be able to have something after school. I also am going to get some things so that I can make some. I have an Uncrustable maker, like sandwich maker. So I'll get the bread and stuff. We already have peanut butter and honey and jam and everything. So I'll make Uncrustables. I realize that might seem to some of you like wasteful to do Uncrustables. First of all, nothing goes to waste around here. We have chickens. So whatever leftovers we have goes to the chickens and it gets turned into eggs. I also have seen a recipe where you take your peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable bread and turn that into like a French toast muffin thing. It's like almost like bread pudding. So I might try to do that, and if I do, I'll take you guys along and see how it turns out. I have in my mind how I would do that. Peanut butter and jelly French toast muffins sound like a really good breakfast option. But yeah, my oldest grandson, so I have twin grandbabies. They are 2.5, and then I have, well, almost 2.5, and then I have the baby grandbaby who is like 10.5 months. River, my grandson, the oldest, will not leave his sandwich together. However, the dogs have decided that they're going to play. Hey! However, if I make an Uncrustable, he doesn't see where it can come apart. Like, he just thinks that it belongs together, and so he leaves it together. And that mess that I'm avoiding in itself is worth 1,000 crusts going to my chickens. So just not having peanut butter and jelly everywhere from a 2-year-old who cannot leave the stinking thing together. Like, he won't even eat the bread. If I make him a regular peanut butter and jelly sandwich, he will not eat the bread. He will open it up and he will just use his fingers and eat the peanut butter and jelly. But there's something magical that happens when you press the thing together on a Uncrustable press, and it like seals the edges, and he's just like, oh, okay, and he eats it. It's a miracle. That is worth it to me. So we're gonna possibly do something with the crust, but I cannot stomach paying the price that it costs now for the Uncrustables. Plus, we really, really like homemade jam in them. And also, Charlie, my 5-year-old, she only likes peanut butter and honey. And I saw that Uncrustables makes a peanut butter and honey one, but it looks like it's a honey sauce, or I don't know. The wording that they used did not sound like real honey to me. So we're doing it this way, and it'll be less expensive, and it'll be more homemade, goodness, and it'll be delicious. So, yeah, that's it. And I will come back to you with a grocery haul from this shopping list, and that'll be in a couple of days that I'll go